way. Hey, rock the cornico monster cray.
My name is Monty Warren. I'd like to thank you all for coming out today. This is an annual deal that we do to honor businesses that are members of our organization. And if you don't mind, I'd like you to stand. We're going to have a prayer by Sister Lucy Nordman.
Good morning, first of all. When Jan Swift, who is a dear friend, asked me to lead the prayer today, she also asked if I would share with you, incorporate into the prayer, the 5 goals of all Sacred Heart schools around the globe. And those are globally accepted by our parents and our alumni and our admissions and our advancement and our et cetera. So these are the 5 goals. Schools of the Sacred Heart commit to educate to a personal and active faith in God, a deep respect for intellectual values, a social awareness which impels to action, the building of community, and personal growth in an atmosphere of wise freedom. So let us bow our heads and be still in mind and body. Good and gracious God, creator and sustainer of all that is, as we gather here this day and pray that we may be ever mindful of your great love for each one of us. We are thankful for all the blessings and challenges that come our way. May we keep our gaze riveted on you so we may see what's truly important, the big picture in all things, with you as our center. May our personal faiths give us strength to serve our community, to use our resources wisely, to build up our community, making it stronger for all of our neighbors. May we always serve one another with compassion. Continue to bless all the endeavors of Stella Mars, their spirit of innovation, their leaders and their staff. We pray in gratitude for their success and ask you to continue to bless their work and their contributions to our Lafayette community. We pray too that our minds may be sharpened, our hearts full of gratitude, our bodies nourished, and our spirit replenished by the abundance among us and before us by those who have prepared our meal. And we ask this in your name, O God. Amen.
Please welcome Jan Swift, our Executive Director. Thanks, Jan.
You know, no matter what the day brings, when you center yourself in a prayer like that by such a beautiful friend and woman of God, it kind of helps settle your heart. So I want to thank you all for being here. I want to share a personal aside. This is my 7th year with Upper Lafayette. I started back in 2008, and I cannot believe the growth that our foundation has experienced, nor the growth that Upper Lafayette Parish is experiencing. As you all know, there's so many opportunities, and when I began in this position, you know, that 7 years ago, I never dreamed we'd have so many strong businesses here supporting us. I want to thank our founding members, as I always do. I know several of you are here, and without your continued support and the support of our growing members, we couldn't do what we do to promote the wonderful place that Upper Lafayette Parish is. So thank you all for being here and for joining us today. I'd like to first thank one of our newest members and sponsors, Halliburton. If you all could stand, please. I know Larry Lemarier and his staff are here. Would you help me in thanking them? Just a note about Halliburton. I did just a tiny bit of research, Larry, and they were founded back in 1919. And so you're almost 100 years old. And they have a fascinating history and actually were named after the company's founder, Earl P. Halliburton. And after borrowing a wagon, a team of mules, and a pump, he built a wooden mixing box and started an oil well cementing business in Duncan, Oklahoma. By 1926, just a few short 7 years later, they became international, working in Burma for an English company. And here today, of course, Halliburton is one of the world's largest providers of products employing about 80,000 people worldwide. So we're very honored to have you as a new member, and thank you for all you're doing to support Upper Lafayette. And just quickly, I want to update you on what's been going on. Every fall, at Christmas time, we have a social. And this past December, we met at Jolie's Louisiana Bistro. One of our members, that's Steve Santillo up there, and we just had a really great crowd. It was just a weeknight. We do this every year. It's an opportunity for people to get to know each other and to thank our members for all you do. So this year, when we talk about it, I hope you guys can join us if you haven't been in the past. Another thing we've been involved in that I wanted to share, Todd Citron with Hub City Ford has been concerned for really the past couple of years. He'd come to our board, to our meetings, and say, we're experiencing a higher number of accidents than usual at Ponte Mouton and the service road, if you know where Hub City is, right off Ponte Mouton. With the increased growth of residential businesses, there's a new school there, the charter school, the traffic is getting more and more heavy. And previously, before we spoke up, there were 6 places people could exit the highway, exit the service roads, or Ponte Mouton. And so because of the time we took to meet with our local government, there was a partnership with Department of Transportation at the state level and our local officials, and they addressed some of our issues. So now when you travel that area, you'll notice there's some J-turns, but it's really cutting down on the number of traffic wrecks. Apparently, before the population really started growing, there were 3 times the number of expected wrecks, and it was just accelerating. So whenever you have concerns, if it's something that you see in the community, please bring it to us. We have a good working relationship with our local officials, and some of these things can be fixed very inexpensively. It doesn't take an act of Congress, but it does take a voice to stand up, and so that's why we're here for you. And Todd, thank you for always speaking up and bringing your concerns for the community. We're still doing the TV show, and these are some people we've had on recently. Monty Warren, our new 2015 board president, will be swearing in later with our board. Let's see, we had Ryan LaGrange from LEDA on talking about all the many things that LEDA does for businesses locally. And then our last show was with E.B. Brooks, who many of you know from the Lafayette Central Park, the horse farm. And Butch Roussel is the fellow in the middle at the bottom right. He started Kickstarter, Civic Side, excuse me. It's a new up-and-coming way for the community to fund projects that they feel are important. So if you have $5 or $50 to put towards something, you don't have to be somebody with deep pockets. We can all get together and kickstart programs. So we're trying to keep interesting guests on. If anybody's got ideas for TV shows, please let us know. I would like to thank some of our newest members, Jay Castile Construction, Taylor Davis, that should be with Northwestern Mutual, Chad Romero, Drury Inn, Halliburton, PHI, Schlumberger, and also here with the table, Island Operating. Would you join me in welcoming all of our new members to the group? Okay. And so before I turn over the microphone to Greg Gautreaux, who's going to help us with the first part of our presentation, I want to say a special thank you to Stella Maris. I know y'all came to our group a couple of years ago wanting to be involved in the community. And I think you're going to be interested in hearing about their story, a very young company, less than 10 years old, experiencing phenomenal growth. But I feel that Stella Maris is the epitome of what Upper Lafayette is about celebrating not only business, but the families and the people behind the business. So I'm looking forward to hearing the presentation, and I'm going to call Greg Gautreaux up. Greg, have you?
It's our pleasure today to honor the Upper Lafayette business success of Stella Maris and its founders, President James Butch Ray and Vice President Paul Stutz. With a focus on quality and attention to detail and a commitment to honesty, integrity, camaraderie, respect for team members and clients, Stella Maris has grown from into a worldwide operation in just 10 years. Stella Maris was founded in July 2005 when Butch and Paul recognized the need for safe, user-friendly hydraulic power and control systems for the energy industry. We were talking about that yesterday, and we're going like, why didn't we think of that first? They soon discovered that their clients wanted customized products, so they modified their business model from mass production to customized product to accommodate each client's requirements. This capability, along with a meticulous and dedicated production team, defines their niche. Starting out with 3 employees, the company originally opened on Annon Street in Lafayette. The young company expanded its workforce to 8 employees within a couple of months, and by August 2006, they had reached 30 employees. In 2009, Stella Maris built its current state-of-the-art facility on West Ponte-Mouton Road. The expanded facility tripled their footprint to 22,000 square feet. Stella Maris offers engineering and manufacturing services which serve the deepwater energy sector in uniquely targeted ways. The company's engineering segment is responsible for the design and production of hydraulic power units, chemical injection systems, and their respective control systems. They provide on-site integration testing for systems as well as startup assistance. Building on the team's collective field experience, one of the company's goals is to produce equipment that's more streamlined and friendlier to operators. Through its manufacturing services, Stella Maris can assemble a variety of hydraulic systems, either based on existing designs or customized technology to meet specific needs of each company, each client. Precision remains the first and foremost concern throughout the production process. In 2014, Stella Maris completed a second major expansion. The recent expansion of their headquarters from 22,000 to 25,000 square feet of climate-controlled space allows the team of engineers, project managers, and highly skilled technicians to work together under one roof. Today, Stella Maris has 110 employees working worldwide. Their attention to detail, their emphasis on accuracy, and their commitment to their clients has paved the global path for Stella Maris' success. Now, that's a little bit about their business, but you need to know more about them as people. And Jan will tell us a little bit about the people behind Stella Maris. Jan?
Now that we know what Stella Maris does, who are the men and the women, the team behind the success story? James Gerald Butch Ray, who was unable to be with us here today, was born in, I think, Shriver, Louisiana, if I'm saying that right. He was raised with his 5 brothers by Dale and Pat Ray. These are his parents. Married for 27 years to Edie Simone, he's the proud father of, listen to this, 7 daughters and 1 son, ranging from 24 years old to 3 years old. So if you ever think you're busy, you can thank goodness you're not Butch. He speaks lovingly of his wife, saying, from the beginning of this business journey, as well as our married life, Edie's always been supportive and encouraging as a wife. She's shown me that trusting in God and being open to his will is the way to operate in life. We've been greatly blessed. So this is their family. You can see it's grown through the years. And actually, Edie is the one that came up with the name Stella Maris. I don't know if most of you know what it means, Star of the Sea, but it's also a name for the Blessed Mother, Our Lady Star of the Sea. And I was told that both Butch and Paul like the name because of the work they do in the subsea industry, and also because it put them under the patronage and protection of the Blessed Mother. Butch has more than 20 years of progressive career movement working in the oil and gas industry before he ended up at Stella Maris with Paul Stutz. And Butch wanted us to share that he's grateful for the influence his mother and father had on him and the important lesson that they taught him. Your name and reputation is all you have. Make sure that you do the best you can, be honest in all you do, and treat others right. And most importantly for our group here that's joining us from Stella Maris, he says he's grateful for all of you and believes that the company's greatest asset is its employees. And Butch also speaks very highly of his partner, Paul Stutz, who's here with us today, saying, Paul is an honest, God-fearing individual that cares deeply for his family and his company, as well as all of the employees and extended employee families. So next, we get to learn about Paul Stutz. Paul grew up in Doosan. He's an Upper Lafayette guy before we even knew what Upper Lafayette was. Right, Paul? The son of Philip and Diana Stutz and the brother of 3 sisters. He enjoyed living on his family property in Doosan, which covered about 300 acres, and it allowed him the freedom to explore the land. He also enjoyed playing the drums, which is a great way for a young man to work off excess energy. The tractors and combines used to farm the land where Paul grew up led him into graduating from mechanical engineering at LSU, after he attended school at Doosan Elementary, Scott Middle, and Acadiana High, where he ran track. Paul has a great sense of humor, saying that he was led into the career in the oil and gas industry once he realized his athletic and drumming skills were insufficient to survive on. Paul was a recipient of the Ben Burns Senior Award at LSU and was later hired in his first engineering job by a fellow Ben Burns Award winner at ECI Consulting Engineers, and that's where he learned a lot of what he knows today. He worked there for 10 years, gathering and garnering invaluable experience in safety systems. And Paul met Butch Ray when they were both working for different companies doing the same thing, working on installing equipment for Mariner Energy. And Paul says of Butch's talents, when you lead and make things happen, somebody's feathers are always going to be ruffled. But my partner Butch sincerely worries about our employees and cares about their well-being and their families. I also was inspired, Paul, to read about your take on the success of your company and the advice you received from people when you were younger. And so some of you here that have built your own large businesses can probably relate to this. Cash is king, meaning that cash in hand trumps potential orders, promises of work, loaned money, etc. Following this meaningful philosophy, Paul told me, Butch and I have been fortunate enough to run Stella Maris without debt. Getting there is no small task. Self-denial, patient investors, and managed growth are tough topics. And I know some investors were probably family members. But it has great effects on decision making. It allows you the opportunity to ignore the immediate effect to the bottom line and decide what's best for your company, your clients, your project, or your employee. Good decisions make great companies, and great companies have nice bottom lines. And good words to follow in any industry. And here's the Stutz family. We've got a beautiful family. His mom told him that growing up with so many sisters trained him for his current job of raising the 4 daughters that he has with his wife of 15 years, Nicole Moore Stutz, who's from Texas. And he speaks highly of his wife, saying, the most important gift is knowing that someone believes in you. When I discussed quitting work to start our company, she never flinched, she shared in all the self-sacrifice, and she never complained. I knew that I couldn't fail with this kind of confidence behind me. Paul also credits his mom with the following advice: measure twice, cut once. Paul emphasizes that at Stella Maris, we strive to do it right the first time. We admit and correct our mistakes, and we make good decisions. Butch and Paul run their business the old-fashioned way, by being passionate about doing a great job for their clients and their employees, who are their greatest asset, as we said. In this last slide, you can see both men supporting causes that are important to different employees. I think you've helped raise money for causes. Different people have needs, so they've been very active in their community on behalf of their employees. So on behalf of Upper Lafayette Economic Development, I'd like to congratulate both Butch Ray, Paul Stutz, and their highly talented team at Stella Maris for being honored as our 2015 Upper Lafayette Business Success. Will you join me in thanking them? And Paul, come on up. Well, we're going to call up our board and swear in our board and our honorary board. And for this occasion, we have Louis Perrette, the Lafayette Parish Clerk of Court. Louis?
Thank you, Jan. It's my great privilege to be with you all here today. When Jan called and said, Louis, we want you to come back and swear in the board, I figured I didn't do such a bad job last time. But I've had the honor of participating in the investiture of the old district attorney, the new district attorney. I've sworn in the Lafayette Consolidated Government Mayor President, the city marshal, all the district judges, the council, and apparently, and the second time here today to do y'all, but apparently according to my daughter and my son, unless your name is Shaquille O'Neal, it really doesn't matter. That's an inside joke, for those of you who saw that. I will call your name. If you're here, please come up, and then we'll swear everybody in en banc. The 2015 officers and board of directors, along with the advisory board: President Monty Warren, Vice President Cherie Hebert, Secretary Treasurer Todd Citron. If you'd please come up and stand right here to my left. And then members of the board: Adrienne Baudouin, Brenda Foucard, Kirk LaCour, Donna Landry, Bo Ferris. Monty, you're going to be first. Cherie, you'll be second. Todd, you'll be third. Donna Landry, Bo Ferris, Julie Simon Dronette, Brian Tabor, Jerry Vascuco, David Welch, and then the advisory board: Don Dupuy, Ed Crampy, Bo Ramsey, and Herbie Schilling. Because this is a unique board, we're going to do this a little bit differently. Okay. And Jan has given me specific instructions on how to proceed. There's no test, and you don't have to repeat after me, but please raise your right hands. Do each of you solemnly swear that you will administer your office in the Upper Lafayette Economic Development Foundation to the best of your ability and judgment, in conformity with the mission statement, articles of incorporation, and bylaws, that you will in all your acts be governed by the principles of honesty, justice, fair play, and in every manner promote and safeguard the best interests of the Upper Lafayette Economic Development Foundation and the welfare of its membership and the public? You answer, I do. By virtue of the authority conferred on me as Lafayette Parish Clerk of Court, I hereby proclaim each of you to be duly and officially installed and inaugurated as officers, directors of the board, and the advisory board of the Upper Lafayette Economic Development Foundation. Congratulations and best wishes. You may now be seated.